Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. I am here today with James. I've been friends with James for about 3 years now. We have connected over Instagram and have been talking and helping each other out for the last 3 years. Um, Today, we want to just talk about some of the situations that are going on in Uganda and many other African countries. I also have friends in the Gambia that are experiencing a lot of these same concerns. And I'm sure you'll go into it and share some of that, and um, just to open our eyes a little bit about what's happening on in other parts of the world.
Yeah.
So, James, can you start by sharing a little bit about you, a little bit about your story?
Thanks for this great opportunity. Mom Michelle, it's really a great honor. Um, it's really a surprise that we have moved together for 3 years and we have been in good terms. You understanding us, even though you're not on this other side of the world, and us understanding you, even though you're not on the other side of your world. So, it's kind of difficult for someone to understand out there, but greatly we are trying to patch things up. My name's James Raymond, and I'm from Uganda, actually Central Uganda. Most probably we got to connect together with you because of what uh, I really like, that I passionately do, that I really don't get any coin out of, but I do because I feel like I am supposed to be, I feel like it's my calling. Not only feeling like it's my calling, but it's my calling genuinely.
Of course.
Um,
I know you have such a huge heart.
um, yeah, yeah, it's not a yet, it's trying to be a difference, because when you realize that we are in Africa, and Africa, we are some of the problems that are really being faced right now is because we are not ready to commit ourselves. We are not ready to start. And when you are not ready to start, that's one of the biggest things or difficulties that we're facing right now. So me, as I've been telling you every time that we talk, I tell you that I want to be the biggest start to something that is great, something that is new in the world of, I don't look at politics, I don't look at, but mostly my heart falls to the charity part, falls to the less privileged, falls to the part that is not looked at, that is not given care of, the part of kids, the part of the elderly, the part of the single mothers, the part of everyone who is getting hurt, everyone who is
The
getting,
disabled
mm,
children that we've started a
yeah,
fundraiser for.
yeah.
Hmm.
And whenever I see something, I try to get involved into, because even if I avoid it, who is going to give it attention? Maybe when I give it attention, someone out there will give me a helping hand to help. I think me, and I have just realized that I am a gap, a bridge that really holds to the needy and to someone who can help the needy. So I am bridging the gap between that.
Let's go
Um,
there. Tell me a little bit about your group or your organization. I know you had a registered charity, the Helping Hands, right?
yeah,
Mizo
Mizigo. Yeah,
Mizigo Helping Hands. And I love that's just part of your philosophy. That's what you want to do, is just be a helping hand and help these people that are in need. Tell me
yeah.
about how these people have come to you, how you've been drawn to them and to helping them. And where did it start? How many kids did you start with? I know even 3 years ago it was a way smaller group. We had a
Yeah,
handful of kids that you were trying to save your home, and you had taken out a loan so that
yeah,
you could give surgery for one of the children.
yeah,
And so when we connected, I was helping you to pay back that loan so that you were able to keep your home, which was on lien against this loan. And we were able to do that. We did some fundraising and we were able to save your home, and it felt really good. But anyway, let's tell me
yeah.
about this group, where you started, how many kids you started with, and how that's grown.
Um, First of all, how does it come to start? When you're in an environment, I am one of those kids that I will say I was blessed. I got some little chance to be blessed to grow up with shelter, with food. But in the long run, when things change, when we lose the guardians we have. So, you know, after losing my father, he had left me that what I call a house. So I was staying there and, I had people, coming in, but it was mine, it's property. And I am that person who likes kids. I really do like kids because I see myself within them, I every time that I'm seeing a kid, I think of either my child, either what if I had, something of a sort.
Mhm.
So one day I I came across something that really hurt me was kids sleeping on the streets, following you up, telling you how they really do want something to eat. And that's to someone normally because that happens almost everywhere in Africa. But it is about how your heart takes it in.
Oh yeah.
Me, I really didn't take it in lightly. So I ignore I did for some little months. But then, there are some kids that really kept on you have something, you feel sorry for them, you give them. So that good heart grows. Over time, you say, no, these kids are not a big number. They were something like three, four. I can stay with them. Wow, I take them in.
hmm it's interesting where you say that, where you were privileged. You had shelter
Yeah,
and you had food. And to think about that
yeah,
in terms here where we're at, people take that for granted. Everybody is going to be guaranteed shelter and guaranteed
wow,
food in Canada because our government helps provide that. We have um, not-for-profit housing, and we have food programs and stuff that can help people that are in poverty in our country. We still have poverty, but nobody's going to go hungry, and people are going to always have a place to live. So just that alone is a
yeah,
comfort that we all have here, and we don't even consider that a privilege. Moving up from
yeah,
there, like having material possessions and all those things are a sign of um of wealth, or where people start putting their gratitude. But yeah.
yeah. You people are blessed that you're under a system that is kind of somehow, proper. And yeah, that's not how the things are. You will think about it, people, whenever most of the time that I talk to people, they say, reach out to you and reach out to, to different organizations. But the biggest difficulty is Africa is not like you people out there. In Africa, it's so different. You look for you to explain it, you can't reach one by one because have you ever lived in an extended family? I'm just trying to share the pic for you, a picture of how things are here.
Okay.
An extended family here in Africa, if it's local and it's really an extended family here in Africa, you can find that they are living under a same roof and there are almost 30 people or
Wow.
so. And you might find a family where it's not extended and they're still living 30 because people here don't do anything like family planning, most especially deep in the villages. And these are the things that really don't appear nowadays and not talked about. You know, someone having 30 kids and they really don't know what they're going to feed those kids, but they are doing it. And what happens? Why are we having these a lot of these kids? One of the things is early pregnancies, teenage pregnancies.
Yeah.
And whenever, since having a girl or seeing a girl or accessing a girl is so easy in those rural areas because parents are trying to push away kids like girls who have made 14, because they're no longer able to be of sufficiency to the number of kids they have. So they are pushing out the kids and the kids become parents when they're still kids.
Right.
That is another burden.
Yeah.
So these organizations are also overwhelmed. As I told you back then, I I noticed that my community really was never visited by any organization.
I know a
And
couple of us have been looking into some of the different organizations, and when you call some of these
yeah,
places, they're like, "Oh, well, this country is in charge of being the charity for those
yeah,
countries. Your
yeah,
country does these other charities." So there's nothing I could do from my end here. And like even like Operation Christmas Child and stuff like that. They're like, "Oh, well, we don't really do Uganda." And I'm like, "What?" Like trying to
yeah,
get recognition down into your community. Um, yeah, we were talking about that, and I know we're going to expand more on
yeah.
some of the difficulties of your country and some of the concerns that you're still reaching. But I still want to know more about the people that you have. Like who's all
Yeah,
there? We started with the kids in the street that were hungry, and just kept
yeah,
coming back, and you slowly started
yeah,
collecting them.
yeah. So these kids alert some other kids, you know. We have shelter, when you see something good and your friend asks you, where did you get that? Hey, you guy, you're putting on something new. Where did you get that? You start telling them that someone is trying to do something. So that's the course where one of the kids gets sick. My job,
Who's the
I had
youngest child that you've had come to you?
I think I have had something of two, a kid of two.
Yeah, and were they
Yeah.
living in the streets with siblings?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Wow.
yeah. And then that's how they collected, getting into a big number. And when in the community and people start getting or noticing that you are a change, they will run to you. They will tell you problems. And it's really so hard. As we have been always saying, it's hard to say no to someone in need. You know,
So that.
first because of the way they plead, because of the situation you're seeing them going through. When you wake up in the morning and then you think you have seen the worst, you saw the worst yesterday, and then today you see something new that is very worse than what you saw yesterday. So
Mhm.
something that someone is pleading to you, and wow, you
Yeah,
have
so
to say
already these
it's
children already going through hunger and struggling to
yeah,
find food, finding shelter, and even with the shelter, it's crowded and sharing the same mattresses and stuff like that. And now, like
yeah,
you're saying, as things come up, now there's sickness like malaria, and it's so
yeah,
prevalent there. And and other parasites. Um,
Yeah,
and
all of that
yeah.
attacks us. But you reach an extent of you having people, having people that friends, doctor friends, you make them, you go into date with them, you avoid them for a
Mhm.
while as you're looking for how to sort them out. You get people, good people like you know, or your situation overwhelms the people who are even helping. Over The situation is overwhelming your finances. And at what age are you carrying all that burden? You know? So there is a point where you sit somewhere and then someone says or asks you a question. Young man, why did you have to choose to do that? You even don't have your own family yet. You don't have a wife, you don't have a. Why are you doing that? And then
So you look at all
you
their
can't say no. Yeah. And in the long run, you have to show that you're a man enough to keep on track of what you're doing. And I want to thank God He has been generous to us and with us. Although we are going through different challenges, although we are not in the you know in the smoothest place, at least He has been providing us with people for a time who have been understanding our situation and been uplifting us. Um and I saw what can really minimize what we are going through. What I have been trying to see is, I think, education, I think, skilling. We have to teach someone how they can survive. And the best survival mode here in Africa might be education, might be having a skill.
Tell me some of the barriers there is for education there as well. When you're
Um,
trying to just make sure that you have a roof over your head and food and fresh water, where on the priorities list does education fit in there?
you know, it's a priority because, me as one who is educated, I think I have a different way of perceiving things. For instance, me as one, I can't take in or go in for marriage with a 14-year-old guy. There are things that you can't do. And how is it a priority? And what are the barriers? First, the priorities are, yes, priorities are we need shelter, we need what. But at the end of the day, the world is revolving at a very high speed. You need to have a skill, you need to have a vision, you need to express yourself, you need to have a way of tapping into an opportunity
Yes.
because we can't be having, let's say I'm having 20 people with me, 20 kids with me, and all of them are not going to school. What is going to be the end result? Thugs. I might not handle them. You know, when you are in school, there are things that you skip, that you don't give time because you're caught up in school. But when you're not in school, there are things that you're going to give time, like drug addiction, like a lot of things. So what are the barriers of education? Actually, here the barriers are really so bad. First of all, I would say corruption because our government, um, when our president, who is now taking in, I think is going to 50 years in power, was coming in, he decided to give us free education. But unfortunately, corruption is stopping that. It's a hindrance.
So why do
Another
you
thing
think
is,
the government doesn't want children to have education or education for all? What is it a money thing? That they don't want to disperse money out or
mm,
to keep people small? I don't know why you wouldn't want people to thrive.
I I think the government is not really. It's not about the whole government. It's about certain individuals who take only see themselves to be more important than other
Mm,
people. Yeah, they give them money to go build schools, pay teachers. Teachers have really abandoned their duties as teachers, and then they have resorted to doing other types of jobs like being drivers, motorcyclists, looking into other types of businesses, and they are
okay.
abandoning their jobs.
Wow.
Most of them only go when it's time to be paid. And a teacher here who is being paid by the government might take a year or two without even receiving salary. So how can that teacher teach?
Mm.
They really won't do teach. So you're looking through all of that. And the government is not really the one that is hindering or is not giving out the funds. Actually, some of the people say, I was reading somewhere an article and they said the amount of corruption in Uganda, if it was in any other country or kind of a European country, their economy would be already down.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because we are doing taxation is going on, everything is going on smoothly, but we don't see the end results of all the taxation that is being gotten out of people.
Yeah, what are the services for children who have lost their parents? There's nothing.
Actually, here that doesn't even happen. I don't think it will. I think it will ever happen. Maybe after 10, maybe after 20 years.
Yeah,
But if you lose someone, then if you don't have a family member, if you don't have any guardian, it's now all on you.
yeah. Even at a young age.
Yeah, it's all on you. So all of those things, when I look at them, I have to stay in line. But the challenge is you don't have that what they call self-rely, the reliance on people who
Mm.
can be here day in, day out. You might get them, but it's really so hard and the needs are really too big, you know? So,
Well, I see the struggle on my side for people and how hard it's been to actually collect other people that are like me
yeah,
that want to assist people over there and see the divide in our economical situations, right? Like to see the differences in our lives. Um, but people are struggling here too. The economy has been tight and what people are having a hard time with um is that there's been so many scammers out there, and those
yeah,
scammers have made it hard for the people like you who are trying to do it the right way and with God on your side and just trying to look
yeah,
after these children. And never ever have we ever had a situation where um, I felt like you weren't doing good work with the money I sent you. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like I know that people are skeptical and hardened and it's because they've been burned and it's sad that it's come that way because I know I can tell that even the scammers are because they're in the same situation and because
yeah,
nobody is opening their hearts to do that they still have to find a way to provide for their families when there's no work, when there's no government services, there's no
exactly.
food, there's no fresh water. They people just end up they're desperate.
Yeah. About the legitimacy, that is really so hard. And how does it become so hard? You remember I had something that was registered. But if I am to tell you how hard it is to get something registered and it's annual, I think I should say to annually do that thing, all of it to be registered fully right now, I think it is $500.
To be what?
To be fully registered, it's $500.
Registered for your
Yeah,
your charity.
yeah,
Okay.
annually. So think
Right.
about it. If you are
Well,
me,
and
put
even
yourself
that's
in my
like
shoes.
if you had $500 to spare, you'd be putting some kids in some education and buying
Exactly,
their medicine and
exactly.
their food and
So why would I invest in just a mere paper?
yeah,
Yet I have responsibilities that can really can't wait. They
yeah.
need that.
That five hundred
You know?
dollar paper is just so useless
Yeah.
in this day to day.
Yeah. And another thing is anyone can bribe, as corruption,
Mm.
anyone, even if they are scammers, they can do the bribing, they can do the anything they want, and they do something to officials. They sneak in some money, tell them, do something legit paperwork for me, I'll do it.
Mm.
Me as one, I think sitting in front of camera for someone like a scammer, like the way I'm seated and they exposing their faces, it's kind of difficult for them. That's one thing I know. And for the 3 years you have spent together, 3 to 4, let's say that if it's a scammer, you literally notice, you start noticing,
Oh, you do, yeah. You
yeah,
start seeing the
yeah. But if like right now, we are not going through good terms in finances, you're not that okay, I'm not that okay. But still we are communicating. Because I don't only look at you people from that side as sources of money, but as sources of wisdom too. Knowledge. Helping out with knowledge, wisdom. How can I go through this? How can we, I, we are using one hand. How can we reach out to more people? But if it was someone who was looking for money out of you, only that,
yeah,
you wouldn't be in touch anymore.
that's right.
Yeah.
And I have to say that, our relationship over this time has grown and has grown with respect. And, when I'm not able to help out, you still love and respect me and we carry our friendship and you wait until, there's a time when I can spare something again. And
Yeah.
and that's a mutually respectful relationship. And seeing the kids when our GoFundMe's get a good donation and then they're in school and they've got all their supplies and they're so
Yeah.
happy and they're singing and dancing and playing with their school books. That just makes my day.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Me, I over the time, I respect friendship, I respect relationships more than money.
Mhm.
I know what or how far it can take someone. Yes, money is needed, but do you have allies? We need allies.
Right.
We need we need people who have the knowledge to help us sustain for today, tomorrow, and the next day. We don't need, because you can have the money for today, but you don't have it for tomorrow. You can have the money for today, and you might not have the wisdom to use it for tomorrow, and you
Hmm.
might use it in a reckless way. But when I have, you give me wisdom, you give me some knowledge about how to use it. I also sit down and calculate things, and
Hmm.
then that's how I handle it. I don't, I, it's not only a transactional thing. money transaction. No, no, no. It's also about the wisdom and the knowledge transaction.
Yeah. And
That's
and
why
and
I don't.
friendship and
Yeah,
concerning
yeah, and
and
friendship. That's why I don't only look at when people come to me. For instance, this lady that helps us. My I'm losing half of my head. I think she's your friend on Facebook. Oh my! I think I also got her. I think we have been with her for 2 years now.
yeah, we don't need to mention names, but we can
Yeah.
just appreciate
Um.
the support. Yeah.
Yeah. She at first she didn't think like it was a real deal. She was skeptical, but after us, presenting to her, you talking to her, seeing that you're real, you know, that's how things are going to work.
Hmm.
And I think basically emphasizing on respect for the relationships we have, the friendship, it's taking us far. 3 to 4 years on living in different worlds, it's really so hard. It's really so hard, and a lot of things are happening with you. You might not be telling me and everything. We might not have to share it here, but you're going through a lot. But you still give us that time, you know,
Hmm.
encouragement, and that's really good for us.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Tell me a little bit about Uganda itself. Like in the I love nature everywhere
yeah,
and I'm sure there's beauty in your country too and not all just
exactly.
the hard times. Tell me a little bit about
Yeah.
Uganda. What I would expect to see if I come.
Are you coming here? First of all, I will brag about us having the source of River Nile, which is the longest river. We have tropical rainforests. We have big forests. We have like Maria. We have Maria forest. We have different animal species. Um, we have lakes. We have rivers. We have greater lakes. We have man-made lakes. And then you know, when you're here, actually, Uganda is full of tourism. And the good thing about Uganda is that all that aside, people are hospitable. They are welcoming, you know. They're not difficult people to deal with. If you come with an attitude of being friendly, they are friendly too. Um, in Uganda, mostly we use one language, and that's the tribe that I come from. I am a Muganda, and they use Luganda, and it's easy to learn. That's the best thing that happens here. By the time you leave, you know something,
Okay.
like 20 statements from it. And the good thing about Uganda is that it's safe. Apart from other, African countries, Uganda has security. Um, Leave alone of things that you hear, uh, bombs, attacks, kidnappings. Those things really rarely happen in Uganda. And when that happens, the government is going to react. Our government actually is very, very keen on security,
Okay.
top notch. Yeah, that's why me, I am always, when I find people that are really skeptical, and then sometimes I tell them, if you could, come spend a week in Uganda, come spend a day, two, three in
Hmm.
Uganda, see what we are doing,
Right.
see what I'm trying to do.
I was gonna say you're
Maybe,
just yeah,
yeah,
go ahead, continue.
maybe you will understand. It's hard to explain to someone. And actually, For the case of trying to prove legitimacy, it's really good for someone to come in on their own, come and see
Yeah,
face to face what is
right.
happening, other than you sending me someone from my area. You know, it's true that people here out here look at you people from the West as maybe kinda sources of money. And whenever you send someone to a fellow black to check them out if they're doing the right thing, they won't they will always go back with a negative report
Hmm.
because they want to stay good or clean to your face, but they want to spoil the relationship you have with someone.
Hmm.
And you've seen me, you know, if I was someone who was so selfish, I would tell you that don't help our friends in Gambia. No, do you trust them? But you know, I am known that I know everywhere in Africa,
Hmm.
not only in Africa, people need help.
Yeah, all over.
Yeah, people need help.
Yeah.
People not only need help that is physical, that is financial, people need mental help. People need psychological help,
Okay.
emotional help. People are
Yeah.
not well. People are going through series and phases of things and they need to be helped.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's it.
So despite all these challenges, where do you see strength and resilience in your community? Because I mean, I see that every day in the fight that you go through. Like I'm just surprised that everybody is still around. Like you've gone through some really, really rough times in the last little bit and still staying strong and faithful. Like I've seen you at your lowest when your health was a concern and you didn't see any hope and it was some rough times in these last couple of years. So where do you get the strength and the resilience and the kids in your group?
I think, first of all, being a Christian, being a God believer, you know, um, I believe in the promises of our Lord Jesus Christ when He says, you shall not lack, all of the encouragements that He goes on to tell us. I believe before you hit the peak, you must climb. So that is in my head. And I have what we call encouragement. Encouragement might not be the words you tell me, might not be what, but encouragement is that kid, that 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I found with nothing, but now they look like something.
Yes.
And in my head, it is in here. The moment I leave or I give up, this kid is going to fall back far from where I even got them from.
Yeah.
So I keep on pushing. I push, I push. I see that, you force things to happen if they are not supposed to happen. You look for ways. You,
Mhm.
you do everything because you know the moment you're not at it, you're going to find drug addicts, you're going to find, robbers, you're going to find young pregnant ladies.
Yeah.
And that is not what we are going to that is not what we're setting for a new generation. We're setting different things. The perspective we are looking at is really so different. Me, my hopes are, I am not looking at what is for today. I'm looking at 5 years from now. Where are these kids? I might not be here, but they might be somewhere and they can um, hold on to themselves and do something better.
I love everything you've said there. There's so many good nuggets in there that all people can really grab onto. What you're doing is you're manifesting their future. You are looking ahead, 5 years ahead, and you are working every day. And it takes that diligence, it takes that hard work, it takes those steps ahead every single day to do what you can. That 1%
Yeah,
improvement every single day is what leads to success. And to just to see you today when where you look healthy, you've got a good hold on the on your group, your kids and all the people that you've taken in, community members that are down on their luck and like so other adults
yeah.
and then yeah. And I just really commend your heart. I see the love that you have in there and how you're drawn to this work. It is totally your calling because there's not a lot of people like you in this world. So
I believe more can come. More can come.
yeah.
One thing I can encourage if anyone sees this or anyone hears this is try, It's just trying,
Hmm.
putting one step. It's one step or two steps. Um, Maybe not doing what I am doing because I will be genuine with you. It's a lot of sacrifice.
It is.
It's it's you know, it's hectic.
But I
It's
see
you
why you do
giving.
it. That love drives you. Seeing them succeed drives you. Those are the things that energize you to keep going.
Yeah.
And if you just focus on the suffering all the time, that would drain you. That would be
Yeah.
hard. But focusing on how they've improved and where they've come and how they've grown and where they
Yeah.
can still grow to, that's what drives you forward.
Yeah. So a lot of people like me can come out, but they cannot, they might not come out the way I am doing it. They can look for someone, or, the reason why we always doing GoFunds, I always want GoFunds, is someone out there wants to help, but they don't want to commit. Commitment is really hard. I
Right,
have noticed it along the time.
right.
Someone might be sparing $100 and they see the GoFundMe, they hear the story, and they can give it today.
Yeah,
The next time, we don't know, but at least they have given today. You
that's
can do
right.
that.
Well, and
You
even
can
when
do
I
that.
notice people that are giving $5 and $10 and $12,
Yeah.
and you know what? If 100 people gave $5, that's
Yeah.
it's a good $500, and
Yeah.
um it makes the burden on one less, and as we spread it out to many, then the rewards are great.
Yeah. And I went into that field of, this disabled, but I have seen that I've added a big load onto me. I want to, I wanted to, when I finish that, I will go back to the setting of being, you know, with this kind of family that I can, because I've seen the disabled are really a big task, big, so much of a task, and they're so expensive, and But anyway, apart from that, is that we hope, and as we hope, we have faith.
Yes.
There is no day that I wake up with no faith, with no hope. Yeah,
Well, I'll say I thank you so much for coming to this platform for this talk that we're doing. I know it's at the middle of the
mm,
night for you. You're starting to look a little tired. You're starting to fade a little.
nah,
Is there any final words you would like to say, and as a reach out, and what people can do to help?
Basically, I'll first thank you. I'll thank anyone there out viewing this, seeing this, taking your time to do this and to view this. Um, I'll, I'll say it doesn't need a lot of commitment. As she's said, or as you've said, needs $5, $10 to a GoFundMe account.
Hmm.
Yeah. We have our person who is anonymous. You know him. And
Yeah.
he does it not that regularly, but he chips in every month. You
Yes.
can be out there, your friend to Mom Michelle, you're not a friend, you're just a follower, you know, you
Hmm.
can chip in something. Help is
Every little
needed.
dollar counts.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, every dollar counts. Here in our language, we have a saying that goes one one at a go makes, like they say one plus one makes a bundle. That's how it is.
Okay.
We have if we have 1,000 people giving $10, that is how much.
$10,000.
Yeah. Yeah. So if we have that, we would be better.
And something like that, a larger contribution, something like that, could possibly even um, provide a way for you to be more sustainable, right? If we have a larger
Yeah.
donation, we could possibly get a small business running or
Yeah,
something
we get good planning
with
actually,
planning.
basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I want to thank you. This is just the beginning of our episodes. I hope to tell you more
Well,
as
and I
we
would love to
continue.
maybe see some of the kids
Yeah.
and get
Maybe
some
one day,
reports on the kids and where they're at, what they're doing.
yeah, maybe one day we're going to be blessed. We will do it during day,
Yeah.
at night, not to say, but, they are kids, but I still respect them. Imagine me, I am tired. Now imagine for them, who are up and down playing gold. Yeah, and sometimes I'm not around. I have to go and look for some money, working here and there.
Hmm.
You're not around them. But again, you're hearing from them, what they are going through. Leah being a bigger part, you know.
Yeah. How many people do you have working with the kids?
Right now I'm working with Leah
Just Leah?
because, yeah, it's a trust issue, and then availability
Yeah.
and the commitment. She's committed, all of that.
Yeah.
She's available and she's trustworthy. I can trust her with, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So that was um it was really eye-opening to see the differences in our countries, just the struggles that you go through daily that
Yeah.
if we put anyone from a Western world in those situations, they would be hightailing it out of there as soon as they could, trying to um but even in the face of all of the struggles, here you are with courage and resilience and the strength, and it was your idea to start getting out there and talking about things. And I love the creative solutions that you come up with to just keep going forward. And I see why you do this. I see the love in your heart. I see how
Yeah.
drawn to these kids you are and how energized you are when you see their success as it moves forward. I love the work you're
Yeah.
doing. You've got such a big heart. I'm so glad that we were drawn together and connected in this lifetime.
Amen.
And
Yeah.
stop the
I'm
recording.